steps to being a successful entrepreneur. So I've condensed all these after 10 years of running my own business to share with you today. So number one that I've learned is wake up early and invest in yourself. There's something valuable about getting up, making time for yourself, prioritizing yourself before you launch into your day. It allows you to gain clarity. It allows you to gain focus and momentum. I know that sounds absolutely crazy, but it so works. I can tell the days that I get up early, I work out, I spend my quiet time versus when I try to sleep in and roll out of bed and then just jump into the day. And it feels way more chaotic. I gain so much clarity for the day when I invest in myself. So that's number one tip to be a successful entrepreneur. Number two is show up for your business and be intentional. Intentionality is so important. When I first started my business, little backtrack, I was one of those people that felt like I had to respond to everything immediately. And not that I don't respond quickly still, but now I've learned that I have to be intentional, not only when I'm operating my business, but I have to be intentional when I'm with people. When I'm on vacation, when I'm spending time with my kiddo, my husband, that time I'm investing in them, right? Just like the time I'm spent in my business is invested in my business, right? So I don't ever answer the phone, pretty much ever. I try not to, at the dinner table, right? Or if we're out to eat with friends, that is time that I have set aside to be with them, right? And so the same goes for my business. When you've scheduled to show up the best you can for that day. And I know sometimes you may not feel like it. We aren't always going to feel like it as entrepreneurs, but if you've set that time to be there, then show up and be intentional with it. You will thank yourself later, and after you get done, you will be glad you did, and you will feel better about the day, right? And that feeling of not wanting to will leave you. I promise. So show up in your business, be intentional, but also show up in the other areas of your life outside of your business and be intentional there as well. You don't have to respond to every single message the minute it comes in. It's okay. I always try to get back within a 24-hour period. So that's just kind of my personal rule of thumb that I like to go by, but you can figure out what works for you. Number three is, you need to analyze. Analyzing is so important. So a couple areas that I encourage you to analyze, because it's very easy to get stuck in the same routine, because a lot of times that's what comes easy to us. That's just our nature, because that's what we've developed and that's what we've ran with. But if we keep doing that and it's not really to the best of our benefit, then we'll just keep going around the same mountain, right? So it's so important to analyze your areas of growth, and your areas of strength. Where are your areas of strength? Analyze that. The one reason you need to analyze your areas of strength is because whatever you are really strong in, you want to maximize that more, right? Because if it's a strength, it's honestly going to bring value to your business. So you want to maximize that even more. If it's an area of weakness, we need to identify that as well so that we can focus to grow on that area of weakness, right? Because everything is a skill. Everything is a skill. I always think about being an entrepreneur as learning to ride a bike. I honestly used to get angry when people would say, this is your niche. This is your niche. I'm like, it's not my niche. It's just that I've chosen to figure it out. I've chosen to figure it out. Just like riding a bike. You choose to figure it out. You choose to tap into that skill. And that's what it's like being a business owner. It doesn't always come natural for
Probably hardly anyone. It's just choosing to tap into it and figure it out. And it's the same goes for working somewhere else for someone else, not even being a business owner. Like, you show up the first day of your job, you have no clue what you're doing, right? And you have to figure it out. You have to grow. You have to look at, what am I doing really great? What am I not doing so great? And what do I need to work on? All right. So that's number 3. That's so important. Number 4 is as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, is focus on relationships and not numbers. All right. Hear me out on that. There have been times where I was focused on the numbers. Believe me, because that's just natural. That's natural for us to do. But honestly, what did that do? It stressed me out. It stressed me out. And what I have learned is, if I just have fun and just love on people, God will take care of the rest. Absolutely take care of the rest. So I would just strongly encourage you that if you are an entrepreneur or business owner, or want to be a business owner, to jump in with faith and truly focus on bringing value to others, and just having fun, because it is worth having fun. And not every day is going to be glorious. You're not going to always have these big victories every day. Some days you might feel like you took 2 steps backwards, but still have fun with it. Still focus on how can you bring value to others. And I promise that will propel you. It absolutely will propel you. And it's just choosing to change your focus. You do have to, of course, probably look at the numbers. You have to be aware, but don't obsess over them, is what I'm saying. If you are in a number, pretty much every business owner has some type of number they have to look at. It's just what it is. Even nonprofits have to look at numbers, right? So, but definitely don't obsess over them. And also, when it comes to relationships as well, surround yourself with people that build you up, that encourage you, that make you want to be your absolute best that you can be, right? And so that is something that has to be intentional too. Not always those people are just going to be in your corner or around you, but you can find those people. You can find those people where you can sharpen each other, because iron sharpens iron. And when you sharpen yourself, you're going to impact others around you as well. All right. And back to the relationship thing, people do business with who they know, like, and trust. They do. They're probably not going to do business with somebody who they don't know, or they don't like, or they don't trust, right? But when you have those 3 things going for you, that is going to make you a much better business owner and a more successful entrepreneur. All right. And the last thing is so important as well. I really think these are all important, but the last thing is what has carried me through 10 years. What has carried me through 10 years and will continue to carry me on is creating bounce back ability. No one has an easy go. No one. If they do, it got handed to them. But most people, and this even goes like people in corporate America, people that own their own business, people that are CEOs, it doesn't matter probably what industry we're talking about. They've had to create bounce back ability because they've had defeats of some sort. They've fallen on their face, they've gotten back up, and they've continued to keep going. So don't give up. Figure it out. Everything is figure outable, okay? It may not always feel great. You might get a punch in the gut. Believe me, I've had those. You may not have seen them on social media, but I've had them, right? So it's always figure outable, and you can get back up and you can keep going. And when you do that, you're going to inspire others. You are going to inspire others. One of my favorite videos on YouTube is actually you can type in famous failures, and you will actually see these celebrities now that had
these stories. They had stories, right? And we relate to stories. They inspire us. But people like Michael Jordan, people like Oprah Winfrey, I'm trying to think who else is in that video, but I know those two for sure, are in that video. And y'all, they are huge celebrities. But they had people along the way that told them they couldn't do it, or they had times where they, made an attempt and it wasn't successful and had to try again. Even there's just so many stories of that, right? But they kept going and they kept pressing on, and it was worth it. It was so worth it. In the end, it was worth it in the end. So those are my top 5 tips today. I was so excited to share these with y'all. I pray it blesses you, or share it with someone that it may bless them, right? Because I know sometimes even as entrepreneurs, you may not have a big support system. I'm thankfully in a business where I do have such a great support system, but I have other friends that are their own entrepreneurs, and they don't really have a huge support system. They don't have a lot of training even available to them. They're really trying to just figure it out completely on their own. And so I just started thinking maybe I could just share some things with others that may inspire them. Right? Because I have been blessed to be mentored and trained by so many incredible people over the last 10 years that I'm excited to pass some of that on to others. And if it adds value to one person, that's all that matters, right? So feel free, share it with somebody, drop a comment. Like if there's something that resonated with you, I would love to know that. So go ahead and drop a comment if something resonated with you today, and God bless you. Bye.